Well, I'm finally here. We flew for hours and hours, and we waited for a while. It's finally upon us. We got a lot of friends here that I couldn't have done it without on this trip, on this presentation we'll be showing. So I'd like to have you introduce yourself, sir.
Yeah, I'm Lieutenant Thomas, CEO of Véto-pharma.
Very good. He's the man we're going to be talking with and taking the interview and the tour with. You, sir?
I'm Fred Brony, and I'm Véto-pharma's North American manager.
Your English is very good. You, sir?
And I'm Phil Kraft, and I'm the North American Technical Director.
Yes, sir. A lot of people know Phil because of his beekeeping. A lot of people know this guy because of his beekeeping. We should know this guy because of his beekeeping, but he just doesn't really want to get in too deeply with it. So I'm looking forward to going through Véto-pharma. I don't really know what's involved, but with the help of all my new friends here, I think we'll be able to do it very well. So Ludo, it comes in from this point, from a truck, and then it comes off the loader, and then the material comes to this room, this special vacuum.
Yes, indeed. And here we remove the dust.
The dust is taken off, blown off, clean. You wear the mask. After that's finished, it goes through this door to the next room.
Yes,
Right.
for something.
Okay. That's good. So let's go to this room.
Yes, indeed.
All right.
Okay.
Taking it from here now, Leo, on the pallet, and moving it to the conveyor for testing for purity.
Yes, indeed. All the dust have been removed, so now we need to analyze the quality of the product.
Dust has been removed, and we're reviewing the quality of the product. Okay. Now the door is open.
So you can see the scaffolder.
Yeah.
So as we will open the box of the product and we can have active matter. So the operator has a scaffolder in order to avoid any kind of contamination.
Okay.
So he will open the box.
Door comes down.
And you can see the positive pressure here.
Positive pressure here.
Yeah. And now the operator can take the sample directly into the box.
And he has a breathing device, so he's not breathing any contaminated air.
Indeed. And we have a very fine filter on the equipment. So all the raw materials that come into the manufacturer, it is mandatory that they pass through this process to be sure that all the product match to the guideline.
So everything has to match the standards that's required for production. He takes the sample, and then that goes to someplace else in this facility where it's checked
To
for
the
purity,
quality level. Yes.
quality level. And in the meantime, this stays in this area and in this room in quarantine. There's a vacuum
Yes.
room here beside us too.
Yeah.
Pull this all up. So in this way, before it goes to the warehouse, you're very certain that it meets the purity
Yes.
that you require and that everything is to proper standards before you mix it into the warehouse and the dust is gone.
Yes, in fact, we avoid any risk of mistake and quality issues.
Okay. All right. Thank you so far.
Thank you.
This way?
Now we will go in out.
Udo, we're in the quarantine room,
Yep.
where you took, so you said would come to next. The yellow label means that the quarantine has ended when it has the green label
On the
above
top. Yeah.
of the yellow label.
Yes.
So everything goes through some kind of check.
Yes.
Everything goes through some kind of quarantine
Yes.
to be certain that it meets standards of the chemical materials
Yes.
and even the written standards on the labels to be sure that it meets
Yes.
EPA guidelines in the U.S. that's required for this. So everything has to be checked and held until it's reviewed, so you're certain that it's completely pure before it goes to the customer.
Yes, and we are certain that all the products that will be used will be perfectly fine for the production.
Yep, and everything is legal and everything is
Yes.
proper.
Yeah.
Okay. So, through the door?
Yeah.
Wow. This is a large facility. Everything now is in the warehouse. And this
With the green tag.
with the green tag, and this is waiting to be turned into various products.
Yes, so all the raw material will wait here until we will take it for the production.
Okay.
So we have separate areas. So we have some area for the packaging. For example, here it's only packaging, and we have also some area dedicated only for the active, which is here.
Okay. Now, what was here again? I'm sorry. Tell me what was-
The active matter, so
Okay, I
the
got
pure amitraz, which is active for Apivar, will be stored over there.
Okay. How many people work here?
There is a 52 people working here.
52 people are employed here in this facility manufacturing this material. Okay. How old is the company?
As the company is a bit more than 20 years ago.
A bit more than 20 years old. Seems like a lot's happened in 20 years. So this is the warehouse, and then from this point, it would go to a production facility
Yes.
where various products are
Yes,
made.
yes.
Okay.
There is an important zone because we just say that if the product is approved by the quality, it will go to the warehouse. But if it is not approved, so we have this area which is totally closed. So all the products that have been refused by the quality control will be destroyed. So that's why it is closed, to be sure that it won't be used in the production.
Well, let me be sure I understand. This area here, all caged off.
All is for destruction.
This material did not pass quality control.
Indeed.
And so it'll be destroyed.
So two solutions, go back to supplier or destruction.
Either back to the supplier or destroyed. And it's locked away and it's never mixed.
Yes.
Okay. It's impressive. Udo, what did you tell me goes on?
So here we are going in a special room, which is a label room. So all our label is under, let's say, block, to be sure that all the product which is manufactured is coming from our manufacturer.
So I had not thought of that. If a person who had access to this label, they could either use your labels if they had enough or manufacture new ones and then put the labels on materials that were not manufactured by you.
Yeah.
I had not thought of that.
Yeah, and you can see here, so you have a US label, so you have the registration number of EPA, and every label have a specific codification. So
Yeah.
if you have a special pack of Apivar, we can track down the product and
understand.
see all what we use to produce the
I
product.
had not considered that if someone could get your labels and could manufacture a version of your product, it would be bad because it's not manufactured to high standards. I thank you for showing me that.
Thank you.
I wouldn't have known it. You sure you locked this door?
Yeah.
You sure you locked that door? People, we're in the quality control lab now. Udo, let's pick up some of those here and you touch them instead of me.
Yeah, yeah.
These are the materials that were collected downstairs where you saw the vacuum running, and then you saw the confinement room where everything was checked for purity. Now they're in this lab where they're going to be checked for the final components of right amounts and the purity of these materials. And they'll be done in this lab, and ultimately they will be confirmed by a second team in a different area. So one group doesn't both check and confirm. It takes a double effect on that. So we move from here then, when someone collects this, you move from here to the area nearby here.
Yeah.
Correct?
So-
And this is where you take these components. And the other thing I didn't say was that you also check, you remember I said that you check this? Well, these are finished material. Should be going to you, but this is going to be sacrificed here to be sure that this final product is the purity it should be too. So you'll be seeing one that's about to be checked here.
Yeah, let's go. So what we do here practically, so we remove the strip from the packages, and then we use this machinery to crush the strip and to get this little piece of pellet that will be used for HPLC analysis.
Jeff, what's not on the camera shot is a machine under a hydraulic ram that crushes the strips in order to bring them to a reduced size so they can be analyzed. So that results in the chips that you just saw here.
Yes. And so what we will issue with the result of this analysis is a certificate of analysis. So here you will have all the characteristics of the product, which is the appearance, like the size, the weight, but what is mostly important, it is the content of amitraz per strip.
Yeah. There's all these dimensions over here that will be important, but the bottom line is the assay level for what is actually in that strip. So the results are confirmed.
Yes, what is also very important to say it is every pack that we analyze has a batch number. This batch number will be reported on the COA and will be transferred to the shipper and then to the distributor. So the beekeeper just have to look at the batch number and he can get all the traceability and the historic of the product.
And these samples are kept 3 years, 2 years, and then one more year just to be sure that someone didn't use it late in the 2-year life. So that's a good long holdback. So the batch number is important to both you and to this company. It's a good show. Thank you for pointing it out.
Thank you very much.
People, we're in an interesting place here. Look at this. Can you see the difference in that and this label? This is a device for checking the absolute correctness of the wording, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So show me how you would line that up there.
Est-ce que tu peux me montrer comment tu le mets bien en place?
So you see it comes into sudden sharp focus as all the words come together. Because this label is very critical. It's actually a legal document to this company and to you. So if it's checked here and shown to be exactly correct, and the label is approved too, once again in the quality control lab. Let me show this too. You see me wearing these designer clothes? Do this because you need to follow these label instructions from the field. You don't wear this, but you use
Preferably latex or nitro gloves.
latex
We prefer
or
not
nitro
leather.
gloves, not leather gloves, and show the proper protective clothing that you should wear. I think this is a dangerous product, but you should treat it with respect and follow this label instruction that has been so deliberately worked out. And yet another room, this room is dedicated to this batch. This will be made for French beekeepers, and in 1 to 2 days, this material will all be used and turned into strips, approved, registered, sanctified, checked, rechecked over and again. it'll be gone. This is a polymer that has a name unfamiliar to me.
Evatam.
Evatam, which is the delivery agent for amatraz, which is 98% purity right now. So just those two compounds go together to make up the final product that you'll be using in your beehives. So it's been checked time and time again, and now it's sanctified and good to go once we go next door and see how it's manufactured. Did I leave anything out?
No, you have been very clear and you don't miss any point.
Thank you. Thank you.
So,
what's this? This is the label, isn't it?
yes. Yes, you're right. So here is the label that have been approved. Previously we can see the green tag.
Yep.
And yeah, this is the label for France.
So this is a label for France that'll be used on these materials here.
Yes.
Well, I can't read much of this.
Yeah.
So I'd like the label I was authorized to have. Thank you. People, you see the guy up top, the operator up there? He's going to take the components of a batch about to be made by very specific instructions and registration processes. He's going to pour that information, that material in to a hopper that we're going to go see here in just a minute. So it starts high, just exactly like your honey extracting plant frequently does, where you extract on the top floor, it drains down to the bottom floor. You're going to see that same gravity flow process back here. Now this is the room where the man was pouring the material in. See the funnel there? That's the analogy I was giving you of honey flowing from up top down here. The mixed material drops into the hopper where it's fed into the extruder. The extruder has 10 different temperature control points. And as it's heated correctly to the right temperature, it's pushed out and is cut into long, narrow strips. You can see those strips moving up the ramp. And then as it passes out of our view, I can see it, you can't. I can see the machine that's cutting the strips to length. They've been tested, retested, and tested again. It has two things here on this screen I've been told are important. One is that batch number. That means everything, the whole way through. Manufacturing process, batch number for use should you have a problem with something. And the second thing is the date of manufacture is on this machine that's going to print it with an ink sprayer. But hold that, we're going to talk about other things first. Comes off the machine you saw before. In this case, 10 strips are put into empty packets. Those empty packets you can see right now, the technician just took those out. We're going to load those back up. 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Technician will roll that into that machine that's to her left, and that will seal a vacuum that makes the strips fit very tightly, and then it will seal them on both ends. And then once they come out, the technician will lay them face down, and then you can see them coming down the treadmill. They'll pass by here, by the ink applicator that puts those two valuable numbers on there. It drops off into the box, and then that's where they're packed and sent to their country of destination. So we finally come to this point. You think it's ready to go? No, it's not ready to go. It's back in quarantine because it has to go through yet other checks and final procedures that's kept inside the file that will stay with this batch for 3 years. Yeah. So everything that went on to get to this point is in this dossier. And now what will have to happen before this is approved for release?
So the quality control will need to analyze the final product, and then the quality insurance will validate all the dossier for the release of the product.
The quality control will ensure the final product and to be certain that all the purity is there that should have been there.
Absolutely, and the thing to remember is the process still doesn't end here, because it eventually has to get shipped to your country. So it has to be loaded, more quality assurance documentation, put on a ship, an airplane, in a container, and sent to the final destination. So there's still quite a bit left in the process.
Yep. There's been a lot of documentation that went into making a product that really is what the label says that it is. So we're waiting how long before you get the final permit to send this to Spain?
Yeah. So
Thank heavens.
from today to the departure, it will be maximum 3 weeks,
3
and
weeks.
then 1 week to ship to Spain.
Okay. So it's close, but not quite. After we've seen all that manufacturing process, as impressive as it was, this is where the finished inventory comes to.
Yes.
Worldwide stocks for how many countries?
Yes, 35 countries.
35 countries are sitting here waiting to be shipped out.
Yes.
So there's still a lot to be done with this, though. This is the U.S.'s component here, being shipped to the U.S. And the fellows who are responsible for this, once it gets to the U.S., knows more about this than we.
So yeah,
Describe it.
thanks Jim. So this is a perfect example here. If you notice, we have a quarantine label on these boxes that will eventually go to the United States. The quarantine label assures us that a sample is being taken from this product run. It is going to quality assurance. It passes, hopefully, quality assurance, and once it does, it will get a green label, like this pallet does. This way, we
I
can
see.
approve the product and we can ship it.
They're showing the final product's been tested.
And everything is good to go. So it's tested even after it's manufactured.
Absolutely.
If something goes wrong, if there's a big storm or if something happens and the product line is lost, do you remanufacture? How do you recover?
So it's pretty simple. We usually have one container in advance. So if anything happens with the container, so we are sure that we can supply the US market within 2 weeks, and we can ship a full container per plane if it is necessary.
So that way, if something goes wrong with the shipping container, you're not left without product in the U.S. or in
That's-
Italy or in New Zealand
That
or
is
in any
correct.
other countries.
If the vessel has an issue, or if the container gets damaged, or perhaps there's a transportation issue or delay, we can certainly back that up and ensure that beekeepers in the United States, as well as other countries, have a good, reliable source of Apivar.
Okay. Well, that's a foolproof system, it seems to me. I'm sure something can go wrong, but it looks like you've covered all the big things.
We'll try to do the best.
You try to do the best. I'm sure you do. Thank you. So, we're now in a different warehouse.
Yes.
Completely separate from the one we were just in. I had no idea the facility was so large. And this facility is specifically for medications of bees that's used around the world or insect-related issues. These fellows know more about that than I do. Tell us what
Jim,
various compounds are and where they're going.
Véto-pharma services a number of different countries that have different market requirements, and the area we're in here is partly for the United States. So we have Apivar, which the United States uses quite a bit. Our natural beekeepers like to use that. It's also a good secondary control for Varroa. We also have in this warehouse the Varroa Easy Check. And of course, there's oxalic acid products, and for the European Union and other countries, we do have Vespa Catch and Attractant, which is a physical trap that works.
What is
with
Vespa Catch?
Vespa Catch is a plastic physical trap that uses a attractant that catches and lures in the Asian hornet.
Which is a big problem in Europe.
We don't have it yet.
We do not have it in the United States. Closest thing we have is a European hornet, but not the Asian hornet. We're very fortunate.
Big insect. But go ahead, I interrupted.
So we're prepared in the event the
Okay.
U.S. does have it. Véto-pharma does have a solution. But this just gives you an idea of the grandeur, the magnitude, the size of all the different markets, and the responsibility that Véto-pharma has in order to service beekeepers globally.
Well, it certainly seems like a series of products that are useful to beekeepers around the world. So this is what you troubleshoot. This is what you answer questions about when things turn up and people need advice on these various products.
Yeah.
Okay. Works well for me. Thank you. It has been an absolutely enlightening afternoon. They have shown us the inside core of the process. And I will tell you honestly, I had no earthly idea of how many checks and balances there were to make a product that they can stand behind 100%. I've truly had a nice time, Ludo.
It was a pleasure to welcome you.
Thank you very much. These fellows I'll be seeing a lot more of. I really hope it helps educate you. It helped educate me. Now we're going to move on to yet more stops.